Let's talk about how you're being programmed or how stupid you are. Now, it's possible you've already fallen for this and don't even realize it. And with this video, I've just opened your eyes. As a programmer in real life, is what I do for a living. I catch things like this because I pay attention to detail. I mean, I'm constantly looking for crossed T's, dotted I's, commas. I mean, it is ridiculous how fine and how little I look for things when it comes to programming. I can sit sometimes for 4 days going through code line by line looking for a missed comma. It is nuts. So over time, because of my experience, you get very quick at finding errors in the code. There was a movie made called The Matrix, and it constantly said people are not ready to be unplugged. Are you ready to be unplugged and to protect your mind? It has been proven, we already know, that people can be programmed. And that's all there is to it. Back in the 1960s and 70s, they would flash things on commercials which they had to outlaw, that they found out later that corporations were flashing like buy now in the background on the television. And it worked. When their commercial would play, that would flash in the background. You could not see it. Your subconscious could see it. And it actually made you buy that product. So they've known about programming you for a very long time. You will notice that your bigger channels that are fear porn, is what people call them, will have a video every day that the end of the world's coming, an asteroid's coming, something's coming every day. And they have 2, 3, 4, 500,000 subs. Look at the numbers. And as a programmer, we look at numbers. If you've got 400,000 people watching some guy saying, "Hey folks, we got the end of the world coming," after 1 or 2 videos, you think most people would unsub that particular person. But they don't. That tells us there are over 400,000 people that have weak minds. And they are able to be controlled by this fear porn. That is scary because preppers like to believe, they think outside the box, they try to prepare for everything, and they try to be ready to protect their families. But are they really protecting their families, or are they just making some guy's pocket richer and setting themselves up for failure and death? If you admit you can be programmed, you're on the start to fixing yourself. Okay? So if I was to watch 10 hours a day toxic fear porn, then what would happen to me as an individual? I would be living life in fear. I would be racking up credit cards. I would be spending money on just about every type of food there is, but I might not be putting that food away properly. I might not be lining up the dates. I might be, and within a couple of years, things starts to go moldy, things start to go bad, because I just thought I had to throw money at it, and it would work. I didn't need any skills. I didn't need any proper clothing. I didn't need proper gloves or hats in the winter. I just needed to keep buying what this guy on fear porn kept telling me to buy. You will find people in general are lazy, and people will follow anybody and listen to anybody to solve their problems. And that is sad. Be aware of what you're doing. You know, in the old days, before internet, we had books, colored pictures, electric wiring. Some of them are really good books. I have some here. And you would talk to other people. You wouldn't just be watching the same video over and over for 10 hours. You know, after an hour of reading that book and your mind getting tired, you would put it down and go take a break, maybe sit on the porch, go for a walk. But not nowadays. It is so easy to sit in that chair, look at that phone or look at that computer, and just watch the same subject over and over. If you're watching fear porn and you say things like, well, I'm just watching it just in case. If you are making even one excuse, you have failed. You are allowing yourself to program. There are people on YouTube that do drama, and they are very, very hateful, toxic people. They will do everything they can to hurt that person. They will do welfare checks hoping something happens and the cops accidentally go off with a gun. They will do things that you wouldn't even dream of. They are quite creative. And their hatred is unbelievable. And they live with this hatred 10, 12, 14 hours a day. They will literally have a group of friends, and all they do when they hook up is spend 8, 10, 12 hours talking about that person. This is very toxic. They are actually programming themselves to hurt somebody. This goes on all the time. You are being programmed, and you are selecting to program yourself. So when you select to program yourself, why not select what goes in? You know, years ago when I was younger, when I was in my 30s, we used to see stuff done on different news shows about porn, saying if you watch too much porn, that is hurting your mind. You are programming yourself in a negative way to be non-productive. And that's sad. You can also see that social media has had to come out of the woodwork I don't know how many times to protect you. A lot of people will scream, it's freedom of speech, it's my right, it's this, it's that. It may be, but if all of a sudden you've got 1,000 people killing each other, social media is going to step in and try to figure out a way to fix that. And if that means creating rules of things you can say or can't say, they're going to do that. There are things that are going on in social media that the big companies didn't expect to happen. But a good amount of it is programming. So let's say you watch preppers that do canning, you watch some preppers that go camping, you watch some preppers that light a fire. You are now watching skills, not drama, not fear porn, but skills. There are channels out there that all they do is light fire a million ways. Might be a good channel to sub, even if you don't light that fire a million ways. But just knowing 10 of those ways might be beneficial in saving you and your family. Maybe watching some videos on money, 2 or 3 videos on people that you believe or may trust, but don't spend your money. Just watch and learn. And maybe something will come along one day that will perk your mind and go, I've seen a guy talk about that. And you may decide to give it a try. After all, if you invest, say, $2,000 or $3,000 and you make a mistake, it did not end your life. And life is an adventure. But if you are watching toxic videos, if you are watching any video that is harming your computer in your head, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Anybody, when you look at these fear porn videos and you see 400,000 subs, that is 400,000 stupid people. And those are 400,000 dead people. Now people will make excuses, I just watch them just in case something happens. That's bullshit. You don't watch anything for just in case. Your brain is a computer. What you put in there is going to determine what comes out, what skills you learn, and what you can do in your life when something goes down. And that's it. If a person takes jiu-jitsu, judo, karate in real life, and they're being taught by an instructor, and then they watch, say, 5 or 6 videos by different providers on YouTube, they're expanding what they're learning. This is positive programming. So the whole idea here is that you need to really think about what is toxic, what is being put into your brain, and if you're watching 10 hours a day of this stuff and you're consuming this much information, then you're programming yourself to fail. So don't make excuses. Don't program yourself to fail. Really pay attention to what you are programming your brain to do. Because like I said, this has been done back as far back as the 1950s when they did it on old black and white TVs. Now we got full color. But it is very dangerous on what you program your brain with. So be aware. And if you're still sub to fear porn, then you want to fail. Catch you guys on the next one.